Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about something that makes us human, our ability to shape the world through tools and technology. From simpling bato to advanced AI like we have now, our journey shows how innovation drives our growth. But with progress comes responsibility, as we all know, as technology isn't good or bad by itself, but it's about how we use it or kung paano natin siya gamitin. So we need to ask, what values guide our actions? How can we make sure our inventions helps and not harm? I am John Lee Tubu, one of the presenters for today's topic, Ethics in Digital Technology. So in this slide, we'll talk about a growing ethical issue in digital technology, especially in education, which is the use of ChatGPT. I guess lahat naman tayo na nakagamit na ng ChatGPT. So during the pandemic, online learning became common and many students turned to tools like ChatGPT for help. So yung pandemic talaga, dito na uso yung paggamit ng ChatGPT. Even ako, gumagamit ako ng ChatGPT to search for information and aminin na natin para masagutan yung mga assignments na binibigay ng proctor natin o yung teachers natin. It is convenient, but it also raised concerns about cheating and over dependence. So yung paggamit ng AI like ChatGPT, uh, obviously, it's a cheating and karamihan sa atin na overused and nag-over-relying na tayo dun sa tools na ChatGPT. So instead of learning, some students nag-over-rely sa AI to do the work for them. So with this supervision in online class, it's harder to ensure academic honesty. This can lead to students missing out on critical thinking and real understanding. So the main issue here is ethics. ChatGPT is a powerful tool, but if misused, it can weaken the core values of education. So that's why school must encourage responsible use to support learning, not replace it. So let's remember that technology should support learning, not replace the learner's effort. So to continue our discussion on digital ethics, I'd like to turn it over to the next reporter, who will be talking about the ethical standards of ChatGPT.
So in this part, I will discuss ethical standard on using ChatGPT. Our analysis revolves around the three major ethical framework, which is utilitarianism, Kantian ethics, and virtue ethics. So utilitarianism, as framed by John Stuart Mill, argues that actions are ethical if they contribute to overall happiness. However, Mill distinguished between higher pleasures or intellectual fulfillment and lower pleasures or immediate gratification. For example, if a student uses ChatGPT to complete assignment without engaging in cognitive effort, they are sacrificing intellectual growth or the higher pleasure for convenience or the lower pleasure. While it may bring short-term benefits like efficiency and ease, it undermines long-term academic progress. Thus, under utilitarianism, reliance on ChatGPT fails the ethical test, since sacrificing higher pleasure for lower ones reduces overall intellectual well-being. In Kantian ethics, Immanuel Kant proposed the categorical imperative, which states that moral action must be universally applicable. So these principles followed a structured approach. In applying Kant's universalizability method on ChatGPT, first step is identify the action to be tested. So the action is I use ChatGPT when I have academic assessment. So after identifying the action, the second step is articulate the personal maxim. When I have academic assessment, I shall fully rely on ChatGPT. So after articulating the personal maxim, the third step is universalizability test, which is when I have an academic assessment, then we shall fully rely on ChatGPT. If everyone fully rely on ChatGPT, assessment would end to measure knowledge, which contradict the main purpose or the sole purpose of assessment. So the fourth step is find out whether contradiction is present or absent. Since reliance negates the definition of assessment, it results in logical contradiction. So the original maxim must be negated, making the imperative when I have academic assessment, then I shall not fully rely on ChatGPT. So in Kantian terms, this means that using ChatGPT for assessments violate the categorical imperative, making it an unethical action. Have you ever asked yourself, what kind of student am I becoming if I always rely on ChatGPT? Or am I developing virtues like honesty, perseverance, and intellectual curiosity? Or am I weakening them? So, unlike utilitarian and Kantian ethics, virtue ethics is not strictly about rules or consequences. Instead, it focuses on building moral character. Virtue ethics argues that good habits shapes moral character. Relying entirely on AI erodes essential intellectual virtues, making it an unethical practice. Using ChatGPT as a learning tool is beneficial, but relying on it entirely for assessment is ethically problematic, according to first is utilitarianism, because it sacrifices higher intellectual pleasure. Second is it is ethically problematic according to Kantian ethics because it creates a logical contradiction in the purpose of assessment. And lastly, it is ethically problematic according to virtue ethics because it undermines personal character and intellectual growth.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. I am Lord Jehan Ramirez and I'll be discussing the misinformation and manipulation. So, alam natin ang social media ay malaking naitulong nito, especially sa pagbabahagi ng impormasyon. So, mabilis at madali nating gamitin ito, kaya karamihan sa atin ay umaasa rito araw-araw. Ngunit may kaakibat din itong panganib, kagaya ng misinformation. So, sa tradisyonal na pamamahayag ay may mahigpit na pamantayan ang mga mamahayag sa katotohanan at etika. Samantalang sa social media ay kahit sino ay maaaring mag-post at dahil dito ay mas lumalabo ang pagkaiba ng eksperto at baguhan sa larangang balita. So ano ba ang benepisyo ng benefits and risk of social media? The benefits of the social media is mabilis ito magpahatid ng impormasyon at nakakatulong ito sa pagpapalakas ng boses ng mga grupong hindi nabibigyan ng sapat na representasyon. While the risk is ang kawalan ng kalidad ng pagsusuri ng nilalaman ay which is nagiging sanhi ito ng paglagayag ng misinformation. So what is the effect of misinformation? Ang maling impormasyon ay maaaring maapektuhan ang paniniwala at kilos ng isang tao. Kagaya ng nangyari nung COVID-19 pandemic kung saan maraming kumakalat na maling balita na nagdulot ito ng pagtanggi ng mga tao sa bakuna at social distancing. Another thing din is yung ang mga ginagawa nilang mapanganib na aksyon kung saan umiinom sila ng iba't ibang chemical, gagaya ng bleach. At dahil dito ay bumababa ang pagtiwala ng isang tao sa mga sources. At dahil din dito ay pwede itong makasira ng demokrasya. So, paano ba labanan ang misinformation? Ang malawak na solusyon ay kailangan is mas mahusay na content moderation sa social media platforms, at mas responsableng paggamit ng social media ng mga tao at ang pagpalakas ng fact-checking at digital literacy. So, hindi sapat ang hakbang ng social media platform kung hindi mismo tayo ang kikilos. Dapat nating pagnilayan ang ating responsibilidad bilang isang tagagamit. Sa tamang kaalaman at disiplina, masisigurado natin na ang impormasyong ating ibabahagi ay tunay at kapaki-pakinabang at hindi ito makakasama sa iba. Kaya you should always be aware and don't jump in the conclusion. So that's all. Thank you.
Utilitarian framework. So, utilitarian framework is about making choice based on what will do the most good and the less harm from the most people. So, before you post something on social media, think about the results of your post. Ask yourself. So, as you can see now in your own screen, we have here four questions. So, first one, will it help or hurt people? Could it spread false information? So will it make others feel bad or unsafe? Or it will it be helpful or informative? Informative. So even a post makes you a more popular if it's bring harm or spread lies, then from a utilitarian standpoint or point of view, it's not the right choice to do. So the best action is the one that creates the most positive impact and the less harm overall. So I have a scenario here, So the scenario that I have here is you see a funny meme making fun of a certain group of people. You think posting it might get you lots of likes and laughs from your friends. So the pros here is you will become more popular. So the cons here is the meme could hurt the feelings of the certain group. So the decision, even though it might be funny to some, the harm it causes to others is greater. So the utilitarian standpoint is not would be not to post it because it doesn't bring the greatest good to the most people. So now let's move to Kant categorical imperative. So the first formulation here is the universalizability principle. So this means you should only do something if it would still make sense for everyone to do it all the time. So if you lie to get what you want and everyone did the same, no one would trust each other. That would make lying useless because lies only work when people believe them. So lying can't universalize without causing any contradiction. So that's why Kant says it's wrong. So now let's move forward to the second formulation, which is the respect for person or about respecting a person. No? So this means you should never use people just to get what you want. You must treat them as a valuable human beings, not as a tool. So for example, if you lie to someone just to benefit yourself, using them as a way to get what you want, without respecting their right to make their own informed choices. That's why lying also breaks this rule. So in short, don't do things you wouldn't want everyone to do. Always treat people with respect, not as an object to use. So now let's move forward to the virtue ethics. So virtue ethics is about being good person by developing good habits and strong character over time. So Aristotle believed we become good by practicing good actions, just like we get better in sports or music by practicing. So how this applies to social media? So when we always check facts, and think before sharing, building the habit of being honest, thoughtful, and responsible. So if we keep practicing these good behaviors, they become part of our character. So we become virtuous people. So this helps create a better online world where people can trust each other more. So let's move to the next slide, which is the conclusion. So the conclusion is already given. Hindi ko na siya i-discuss kasi madali lang din naman siyang intindihin. So I think that would be all. Thank you.